Sonia, a beautiful young woman in her late 20s, was sitting alone in the living room. She was lost in thought. Her husband, Donald, has just returned from work. Donald cheerfully said, "My love, I'm home." Sonia forced a smile as she rose to greet him. Sonia said, "Welcome back, my husband. How was work today?" Donald noticed her subdued tone. "It was fine, but what's wrong? You've been quiet lately." Sonia hesitated, then shook her head. She said, "It's nothing. I am just a little tired." Donald pulled her into an embrace when he sensed that something was off but decided not to press her. Donald said, "I hope you're not overworking yourself. You know I want you to rest more." Sonia nodded while leaning into his embrace. They sat down for dinner, but the silence between them was heavy. The following morning, Sonia was in the kitchen, preparing breakfast when a loud knock on the door startled her. Sonia said to herself, "Who could that be so early?" She opened the door to find her mother-in-law standing there with a stern expression. Sonia's heart sank. Mother-in-law asked coldly, "Hey Sonia, where is my son?" Sonia said nervously, "Good morning, Mom. My husband has already left for work. Please, come in." Her mother-in-law brushed past her without a word and walked into the living room. Sonia followed her but trying so hard to mask her anxiety. Her mother-in-law sat down, not looking at her. "Sonia, it's been 5 years since you married my son. 5 years, and yet there's no child to show for it." Sonia's hands trembled as she tried to remain composed. Sonia said softly, "Mom, I know, but we are trying. These things take time." Her mother-in-law said sharply, "Time? Time is not on your side, Sonia. How long do you expect my son to wait? Do you want him to be childless forever?" Sonia's eyes welled up with tears, but she quickly wiped them away. She said, "Mom, I want to give my husband a child more than anything in this world. We've seen doctors, we've prayed, but it's in God's hands." Her mother-in-law voice rose, "Don't bring God into this. You're the problem, Sonia. I warned my son not to marry you. I told him you were too delicate, that you couldn't give him the children our family needs. But he didn't listen." Sonia dropped to her knees and was pleading. Sonia said, "Mom, please. I love your son. I will do anything to make this right. Please, don't make him suffer because of me." Her mother-in-law stood up and glared down at her. "It's too late for that. You have failed as a wife. My son needs a real woman, someone who can give him heirs. You need to leave this house." Sonia gasped, and her heart shattered. Sonia said, "Leave. But Mom, where will I go? This is my home. Your son is my husband." Her mother-in-law said, "Not anymore. You have had your chance. Pack your things and leave before my son comes back. I will find him a new wife, one who will fulfill her duties." Tears streamed down Sonia's face as she realized that her worst fear was coming true. She stumbled to her room, numbed with shock, and started packing her belongings. As she packed, memories of her life with her husband flashed before her eyes, their wedding day, the laughter, the love they shared. But now, all of that seemed to be slipping away. Later that evening, Donald returned home, exhausted from work, only to find the house extremely quiet. He saw his wife packing her bags by the door and his heart sank. Donald called out, "My love. My love, where are you?" Sonia was still in the bedroom, her face pale and tear-streaked. Donald rushed to her side. Donald asked, "What's going on? Why are your bags packed? Are you leaving me?" Sonia struggled to speak through her tears. She said, "My husband, your mother came today. She said I have to leave because I can't give you a child. She's going to find you a new wife. You know the maltreatment I received from her the last time she visited." Donald's eyes darkened with anger. He said, "She said what?" "No, my love, you're not going anywhere. You're my wife, and no one, not even my mother, has the right to tell you to leave." Sonia sobbed, "But my husband, I don't want to be the reason you don't have children. I love you too much to hold you back." Her husband pulled her into a tight embrace, and his voice was firm. He said, "Listen to me. I married you because I love you, not because of what you can or cannot give me. We will face this together, and we will find a way. You're not leaving this house." Just then, her mother-in-law stormed back into the living room, having overheard their conversation. Her mother-in-law said, "My son, I'm doing this for your own good. You need a wife who can bear children, not a barren woman who will bring shame to our family. I need grandchildren. I am not getting any younger, neither is your wife getting any younger." Donald stepped in front of his wife, shielding her from his mother's wrath. Donald said, "Mom, I respect you, but I will not let you destroy my marriage. Sonia is my wife, and she's staying here. If you can't accept that, then you should leave." His mother glared at them both, her face was twisted with anger. She said, "You are sending me away because of this barren woman. You will regret this, Donald. Mark my words." With that, she stormed out of the house, slamming the door behind her. Sonia collapsed into her husband's arms, overwhelmed by everything that has happened. Sonia said, "My husband, I'm so sorry." Donald said softly, "You have nothing to apologize for, my love. We'll get through this together." A few months later, the atmosphere in Donald and Sonia's home has grown increasingly tense. Despite Donald's efforts to shield his wife from his mother's harsh words, his mother's relentless pressure has taken its toll. Severally, Sonia's mother-in-law will call her on phone reminding her how old she was getting, and still haven't given her grandchildren. Sonia was beginning to get extremely tired of her mother-in-law's constant reminder. The once warm and loving home now felt cold and strained. Donald was returning from work, visibly exhausted and burdened. When he entered the house, he called out, "My love, I'm home." He found his wife in the bedroom, sitting on the edge of the bed, lost in thought. Her face was pale, and there are dark circles under her eyes from sleepless nights. Donald sat beside her. "My love, how are you holding up?" Sonia looked up at him, her eyes filled with a mix of sadness and resignation. Sonia said softly, "My husband, I don't know how much longer I can take this. Your mother is never going to stop. I'm afraid she'll keep pushing until there's nothing left of us." Donald's heart ached at the sight of his wife's despair. He took her hand and squeezed it gently. Donald said, "I know, my love. But I won't let her destroy our marriage. We've come too far to give up now." The next day, her mother-in-law visited again, and told Donald she wanted to discuss something important with him. She began by telling him how she suffered to raise him to become the man that he is today. That she would also love to see his children, that will be able to take care of him when he gets old. And that's the reason why she has been serious with his wife's childlessness. Donald said, "Mom, I have heard you. I will marry a second wife just for the purpose of giving you grandchildren. But I love my wife and won't chase her away." Sonia eavesdropped on their conversation and began to cry. When her mother-in-law went into her bedroom, her husband came to their bedroom to discuss with her. Donald said to his wife, "I just had a discussion with my mom, and she made a little sense. I don't want to lose you, but I promised her to marry another wife just for giving her grandchildren. What do you think about my plan?" Sonia couldn't control her emotions, but later asked, "What if staying together is only making things worse? What if I'm the one holding you back from the life you deserve? I can't stay here and watch you bring in another woman. I'd rather leave." Donald said, "Don't say that, my love. You are my life. But if leaving would make you happier, I would never force you to stay." Sonia said, "I can't bear to be the cause of so much pain between you and your mother. And I can't stay here with another woman. I am going to pack my belongings." Donald's heart sank, but he knew deep down that Sonia might be right. He nodded, tears brimming in his eyes. Donald said, "If that's what you truly want, I respect your decision. But know that I will always love you." Sonia tearfully said, "I will always love you too, Donald." The next day, Sonia packed her bags, and her heart was heavy with sorrow. Her mother-in-law watched from a distance, a small, with satisfied smile on her face. Donald stood by the door, struggling to keep his emotions in check as he watched the woman he loves prepare to leave his house. Her mother-in-law said coldly, "It's for the best, Sonia. My son needs a real woman, someone who can give him children." Sonia didn't say anything to her. She simply nodded as she was zipping up her bag. Donald clenched his fist, and anger boiled inside him, but he knew there's nothing more he can do. Sonia walked to the door, and turned to face him one last time. Sonia said, "Goodbye, Donald." Donald replied with a cracked voice, "Goodbye, Sonia." Sonia walked out of the house, and tears streamed down her face. When she left, Donald collapsed onto the floor, devastated. A year later, Sonia remarried a kind and loving man named Clinton, who welcomed her with open arms despite her past. Sonia was now pregnant for her new husband, and her face was glowing with happiness. Clinton said cheerfully, "How's my beautiful wife doing today?" Sonia smiled, "I'm doing well, my husband. Just feeling a little bloated." Clinton laughed, "That's because our little one is in there. I can't wait to meet our baby." Sonia's heart swelled with joy. She felt a sense of peace and fulfillment that she never thought possible after everything she went through. Sonia said, "Neither can I. Thank you, my husband, for giving me a second chance at happiness." Clinton kissed her forehead, "No need to thank me, baby. You've brought so much joy into my life. This child is a blessing for both of us." A year has passed since Sonia left Donald, and life has moved on. Donald, who was pressured by his mother, has remarried a woman named Ivy, who is beautiful and comes from a well-respected family. However, the marriage has been far from blissful. Like Sonia, Ivy has been unable to conceive, and the atmosphere in Donald's home has grown increasingly tense once again. Donald's mother was pacing in the living room, deep in thought. Donald's mother muttered to herself, "This can't be happening. First, Sonia couldn't give us a child, and now this new wife too. There has to be something wrong." Donald walked into the room, tired and frustrated. He noticed his mother's worried expression. Donald asked, "Mom, What's wrong? You've been restless all day. Donald's mother said, shaking her head, "My son, I'm worried. It's been a year since you married Ivy, and still no sign of a child. I'm beginning to think there's something more to this than just bad luck." Donald sighed, feeling the weight of the situation pressing down on him. He's haunted by memories of Sonia, but he pushed them aside, trying to focus on the present. Donald said, "Mom, we've seen doctors. They said there's nothing wrong with either of us. Maybe we just need to be patient." Donald's mother shook her head. "Patience? No, my son. This isn't normal. I think it's time we seek spiritual help. There's a prophet I know who might be able to tell us what's going on." Donald looked hesitant, but he knew his mother won't rest until she gets some answers. He nodded in agreement. Donald said, "All right, Mom. Let's go see this prophet. But I don't want my wife to know. She's already under enough pressure." At the prophet's church, the prophet, a wise-looking man, stood across from Donald and his mother, his eyes closed in deep concentration. He spoke in a low, measured tone. "Prophet said, there is a heavy burden upon this household, a curse that has taken root. It is not of natural origin but born from the heart of someone who has been deeply wronged." Donald's mother's eyes widened in fear, her heart pounding. Donald leaned forward, and anxious to hear more. Donald's mother said, "A curse? But who would curse us? We've done nothing to deserve this." The prophet opened his eyes, fixing Donald's mother with a penetrating gaze. Prophet said, "This curse is from someone you wronged a long time ago. A woman, a mother who cried bitter tears because of your evil actions. Her pain has brought this misfortune upon you." Donald's mother's mind raced, trying to think of who this woman could be. Prophet said, "It's the widow you poured her soup away. She knelt down at night and decreed that you will never hear the cry of a baby from your son." Donald's mother was shocked. "Maria?" The prophet nodded slowly, confirming her fear. Prophet said, "Until you make amends, this curse will remain, and you will not see your grandchildren." Donald's mother's hands trembled as she processed the prophet's words. The realization of her actions and their consequences hit her like a ton of bricks. Donald said softly, "We'll find her, Mom. We'll ask for her forgiveness." "But what if it's too late?" Prophet said, "It is never too late for repentance. But you must act with sincerity and humility. Only then can you hope to heal the wounds of the past." Donald and her mother left the prophet's church and went to the village to ask for forgiveness from Maria. They arrived at Maria's house and asked her for forgiveness. Maria forgave Donald's mother and prayed for her. Then they located Sonia's new house to ask her for forgiveness as well. At Sonia's house, the doorbell rang, and Sonia went to answer it. She was surprised to find Donald and his mother standing there, looking worn and sorrowful. "We've realized the pain we caused you, and we are truly sorry." Donald's mother said, "Sonia, I was wrong. I was blinded by my desire for a grandchild, and I hurt you deeply. I can see now how wrong I was to treat you that way. Please, if there's any kindness left in your heart, forgive me. Forgive us." Sonia said calmly, "I've moved on, Mom. I found happiness and a family that loves me for who I am. I forgive you. I have learned to live without bitterness in my heart." Donald's mother sobbed, "Thank you, Sonia. Thank you." Donald stood silently, his heart breaking as he saw the woman he once loved, now so strong and at peace without him. He knew he has lost her forever, but he also knew that Sonia's forgiveness is the second step towards healing his own heart. Donald said, "I'm so sorry, Sonia. I hope you find all the happiness in the world." Sonia, with a small smile on her face, said, "I already have, Donald. I hope you do too." Donald and his mother went home, and when they arrived, Donald's wife gave him the good news that she tested positive to pregnancy. All of them were extremely happy that change has come to their household. Thank you for watching. Please, don't forget to subscribe.